There's lots of reasons why you might build your own fishing rod. A lot of us start off with something as simple as the odd runner or doing up an old rod, but generally you tend to move along and get yourself a basic one like this one, a 7-foot estuary, general purpose, whiting brim flathead. And the beauty of it is you start with nothing, a blank and a few bits and some assorted colours, and you end up with a fishing rod that you've built yourself and you go out and catch fish on yourself. So the first time up, we've just got a fairly basic configuration, but just to give yourself an idea of where the fittings will end, we've just got a straight rear butt. We'll go on there, leave a bit of room for our butt cap, our reel seat, and the foregrip. So the idea with the grips is you want to make sure that they stick on nice and hard. So the best way to do that is make sure they're a smaller inside diameter than the blank. You can see that's firm there. We'll just mark that there. We'll slip that on shortly. So make sure you use a good 2-pack epoxy glue. This Probond is made especially for rod building. Glues everything from your wood butts to your EVA grips to cork. It's got a drying time of about, or workable life, 20 minutes to 40 minutes, depending on the temperature in the state that you are. So it's just equal amounts. It's nice and easy to work with this one because it's not too messy. Don't get your sticks mixed up. So I just use a little bit. You're better off to do a few small amounts first rather than one big lot and have it go off on you. Generally, the more glue you mix up, the more heat it generates and the quicker it goes off. So just mix that up and get it good. So while the glue does have a bit of lubricant in it, the best lubricant is just general purpose thinners. It doesn't affect the glue and evaporates nice and quickly, and it'll just help us slide down. So all you do is put a little bit of thinners in there, wash it back and forward like so. And where it stops, you just want to put a little bit of glue there, a band of glue around there. We've got our mark down here where we know the grip's going to go, or it's going to end up. So again, a bit higher than where it started and about 3/4 of its length. You're better off to put too much on than not enough because you can always wipe off the excess. Now the trick here is when we push this down, we push it from the top because as it gets tighter it compresses and it makes the hole bigger. So that will go down very, very easily. You'll find if you didn't put the glue there, it'll stick, and if your thinners has evaporated, it won't go all the way down as well, but you can see very easily goes all the way down. We've got our excess glue there. There's our mark for the butt cap. So just go a little bit further past that. Then we just wipe off our excess. We'll clean it all up properly with a rag later. And usually you'll find that a little bit will weep out the top, which means you've got the glue all the way. Clean that off to get the excess glue off. So next goes our reel seat, and the reason why we mark this here is especially on a stronger rod or heavier rod, you want to put a couple of bands of tape there. That just packs it up so you got a nice firm fit. Again, like it with everything else, you're better off to put more tape on and peel a couple back than not enough. So we want to leave enough room for our glue to get there. So just count your times around. So I've gone 10 times around there and you can see that's too tight. So I'll just whip that back a couple of times. Next one just about the same up there. That's where it's going to stop, so back in a bit. And then we've got room for a bit more in the middle. The one in the middle, usually I do 1 or 2 bands less so you can fit more glue in there. Now the trick with the glue is when you're putting it in, because water will get in there, fresh or salt water, you want to make sure you put the glue on both sides of the tape. That'll seal that off from the water from getting in there. So we've got plenty of glue in there. And that'll just slide down into position, like so. Then that last little bit where you've got a gap there, you can just get your finger or a rag in there to wipe that off. And then just turn it a little bit as you go in, and that way the glue will get underneath. And there it is. There with no mess. If you get a little bit, just wipe it off. Same with our foregrip. Put your mark there. Bit of thinners in the hole. stop short, get rid of the excess glue. You can use a rag, get in there and get that last little bit. And you can see at the top there it's starting to weep out, so that means we've got glue all the way up. A lot of people ask about the backbone or the spine of the rod. So that's usually where the fiberglass, when they make the rod, starts and finishes. It has to start and stop somewhere. It's not put in there on purpose. It's just a process in the manufacturing. Now when we've got a long life glue like this, we've got plenty of time to move that around. Some people like to mark it first, but I find when you're doing it like this, you're better off just to glue it all up, then come back and straighten it up. So really what it means is when you're fishing with a fishing rod, when the rod bends, it'll want to roll into a certain position. Now it all depends on the material, the taper of the blank, whether it's a fast action or slow action. But something like this, it's just a general purpose estuary rod, fiberglass all the way. I generally look for the backbone or the spine in the middle section, and you'll find that when you roll it around, it'll want to pop into a certain position, so you line up the reel seat with that bend. You'll often see some people, they'll want to look for it in the tip section like this. Usually the tip doesn't do too much, but feel the bites and cast out the lures. And the cut and the cloth will often change, so you get a false backbone if you look for it in the tip. You're better off to look for it in the mid-working section of the blank. So there it is all lined up, and we glue our tip on, straighten it up, let that set. In an hour or so we can come back. While that's drying, we can go and get our guides ready, go and grind them, pick the colours we want to choose, and get ready to do the bind in front of the telly tonight.